Amos 7, chapter, Amos 7, verse 17, a fulfillment of us in America. Giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kakodash. Amos 7, chapter 7, verse 17, a fulfillment of us in America. Amos 7, verse 17 is a prophecy concerning America. So this prophecy in Amos, which by the way, Amos is a prophet. What do prophets do? They prophesy. He prophesied about America. So let's read the, this is going to be short. Let's read the verse there. Amos 7, verse 17. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city. What city is it talking about? Because it would specify what city it's talking about, right? If it's talking about any old city, it's talking about the great city, Babylon the Great. Let me do this here. Let me open up another tab. Okay, let me bring this over here. This is what I'm going to do. As soon as this pops up. I'm going to put in the word city. City occurs almost 1,000 times in 777 verses. So what I'm going to do is this. Now, I know it's in the book of Revelation, but I want to see how many times it's in the book of Revelation. Okay. It's in Revelation 11, verse 2. It's also in Revelation 11, verse 8. Revelation 11, verse 13. Revelation 14, verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, that great city. That's another one. So it occurs in the book of Revelation. So far, we got 4 verses checked off. Revelation 14, verse 20. Revelation 16, verse 19. Revelation 17, verse 18. All these precepts that we're going to go through, when it's mentioned the city, it's talking about Babylon the Great. You can see this place is falling. Revelation 18, verse 10. Revelation 18, verse 16. Revelation 18, verse 18. What is this, 10 times so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Revelation 18, verse 19. Oh, Saudi Arabia put in an application to join the BRICS nations along with Iran and Argentina, which is in South America. So you got three nations, major nations that want, and I believe Venezuela is going to follow suit. So all these prophecies are coming to pass. Revelation 18, verse 21. And I love Revelation chapter 18. Very simple breakdown if you understand it. If you don't understand it, you're going to get stuck. I look at it like the closing credits of a movie. And that's basically what Revelation 18 is the closing credits of the great city. The beloved city is talking about us. Revelation 20, verse 9. It's talking about us. It's talking about the kingdom. So what we're going to do here is we're going to read all these verses. Now it said, let me come back over here, Amos 7:17. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be in harlot in the city. The city is talking about this place, Babylon the Great. Every woman that you dealt with, some of you were fortunate enough to get virgins, but I guarantee you, they stepped out on you. I know for a fact all the women I dealt with, they had men before me, and they stepped out on me and they moved on. So they're dealing with other men. So that makes them a what? A harlot, right? Let's look up the word harlot. See, that comedic shit don't hold no weight. Oh, our queens. When you look up the word queen means harlot. But that's part of the curses. So let me look up the word harlot. Zana. To commit fornication. Fornication means adultery. Especially if you go to the New Testament. I believe one precept come to mind is 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. Matter of fact, let me go to that. So I got to open up a bunch of more. Well, one more. One more tab. Okay, what did I say I was going to do? Oh, I said 1 Corinthians 6, I believe. All your women stepped out on you. Oh, I'm getting with my friends and we going down to Jamaica. What do you think they're going down there for? They all because they're harlots, man. And they love to be lied to. Okay, give me a second here. What is the actual word? I believe the word is fornication. Let me see. Okay, bear me for a minute. Okay, it's right here in the 9th verse. Okay, fornicators in the 9th verse. Also in the 13th verse. See, the blue letter makes my job much more. uh, easier. It's also in the 18th verse. Let's go to the 9th verse. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor adulterers, nor idolaters, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. Let's see what this word fornicators or fornicators. Because you got pornos and you got pornea. This is not the word I'm looking for, but let's see what it says. All right, pornos, the OS suffix makes it masculine. So a man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire, a male prostitute, a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator, a male prostitute, and he might go both ways. He commits adultery too. But the pornos is different from the pornea. Let's come back over here. Okay, 13th verse. Meats for the belly and belly for the meats, but the Most High shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. So let's see. Look at this word fornication. That's why you got to click on the word, because it might be a masculine root or a feminine root. And America is the great harlot, the great fornicator. Where the hell is it? Okay, I believe I found it. Pornea, as opposed to pornos. Pornos mean masculine, a man laying with another man, a man laying with another man, and also laying with a man's wife. In the masculine sense, being acting like a female. Pornea. See, this is why the Christians can't deal with us. They don't get deep like us. Pornea. Pornea. Pornos makes it masculine. Pornea makes it feminine. Illicit sexual intercourse. Adultery. That's the only word you had to put up there. Adultery. Fornication, which is adultery. Pornea. Homosexuality. Actually, it's adultery. Lesbianism, intercourse with animals. That's bestiality. But it actually means pornea. This is the definition for pornea, adultery. A woman that lays with a man and she's married to another man. A man that lays with another woman that's married to another man. If a man has a wife and lays with another woman and she's not married, that is not adultery. The Christians teach that garbage because they're on a low level. They don't understand the scriptures. All these Christians are watching us, man. When Geno Jennings, when he gets his lessons together, he watches our videos so he can come off as deep. He ain't as deep as he think he is. So now, what I want to do is I want to go back to wait a minute. I think I lost Amos. Let me just do it this way. Let me go to Amos, back to Amos 7 and 17. Thank the Father, Yahweh Bashem Shai, that giving this truth to babes. We are the babes. That's why they try to come against us with their theological cemetery degrees. And we're just people, some of us went as far as high school, maybe a couple of years to college, maybe a high school dropout. And we going head to head with these so-called Christians that think they know the Bible. They don't know the Bible. Let's come back to Amos 7, verse 17. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city. That's part of curses. All the women that you got with you was a young man, you happen to get a woman that was a virgin. Guess what? Years go by, you might have had a couple of children with her. She done stepped out on you. She ain't even with you no more. Okay? So, and that was death. You can't put your woman to death, not in this society, because this law, Esau's laws take precedence over the laws of the Most High. You can't go into the court reading the Bible. They're gonna do some psychological evaluation on you. This crazy guy is reading out the Bible. It says, "Thy wife shall be an harlot in the city." The city is Babylon the Great. "And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword." What's the modern sword? What happens every day with Jake? They're getting shot up by each other, or they getting shot. One Jake dude, they showed him, they did the perp walk. He looked like out there in the street. He's gonna be in the system for a while. Shot a man, according to the reports. He shot a man in the face that worked at McDonald's because he gave him cold fries. So he killed the man over cold fries. If you look at Jake wrong, they looking to kill you. You know? That's all them years of eating sugar pops and Captain Crunch and now laters and Skittles and being raised up by their mama. They're fucked up in the head. And demons to top it off. All these Jakes out here got demons on them. Anybody that doesn't know that they're Israelite and totally in this truth, you got demons on you because the spirit, the Most High, the spirit, the Father of spirits, and that's in Isaiah 6, had one demon appointed to you to close your eyes. So you got a spirit on you, a righteous spirit that close your eyes and open our eyes. That's why we can see it and you can't see it. It says, "And thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line." The land of Israel is divided, right? The division is the first Canaan and the second Canaan, right? The kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, right? When the small hats got up in there, when Esau got up in there, they divided even more. These two countries are ours in possession. What is that? Ezekiel 36. And they also have our land on the other side of the world. When Esau came over here, Christopher Columbus, major name, came over here, who did he encounter? He encountered the Israelites. Why? Because this is also our land. Canada, the US, Central and South America. And that represents the fourth part of the earth. We're gonna get into that. Giving credit to Sakari because they went into it first. It says It says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. What's the modern day sword? Every time you turn on the news, Jake is getting shot up. You got these Jake women that are wilder than the dudes out there, man. Gun-toting harlots. And thy land shall be divided. That's over there in America, and over there in the land of Israel, Palestine, and over here in America, because this is our land too. But America is going to be destroyed. U.S. is going to be destroyed. Canada will be and remain intact. Central and South America will remain intact. So in between Canada and South America is that desert. And thy land shall be divided by line. Read Ezekiel. Matter of fact, let me go to it. Because you might say, nah, that's not in the scriptures. Nah, you just made that up. The United States close to war with Iran, if you can see that. Okay, let me go here. Let me open up another tab. Now, where am I going to go? Oh, Ezekiel, I believe. Ezekiel 36. I don't want to read the whole thing. I want to go right to the point. The hell, how did this happen? Wait a minute, could it be in 5? Bear with me for a minute. Let me try this. Well, maybe it's in 5. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, it's in 5. I'm sorry, 35. 35. I'm not going to read all this. Okay, I will make the perpetual desolation, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. I should read the whole thing, but I'm not. Ezekiel 35, verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir, the Edomites, most desolate. The land of Edom is where? It's right here. This is known in Isaiah 34 as the land of Edom. And cut off from it him that passes out and him that returneth. They leave out of America and they come back. They go on trips around the world because they control the whole world, right? 8th verse, and I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. The sword here is talking about the ICBM missiles, the supersonic ballistic missiles that radar can't detect. A thief by night. 2 Peter 3. I will make thee perpetual desolation. The word desolation, that's where you get the word desert. A desert is desolate, a desolate. And thy cities shall not return. And so many precepts coming to mind right now. I'm not going to go into them. Isaiah 14 is one. And ye shall, the latter part is Isaiah 14, really the whole chapter. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh. When are they going to know? When the kingdom is established? This kingdom has to go down before the new kingdom comes up. Esau is the end of the world, and you know the rest of the story. Because thou hast said these two nations and these two countries, North, Central, and South America, Canada, US, Central America, South America, I just should say Central, South America, are the lands of Israel. Because who met them when Esau came over here? They met the tribes. It said, because thou hast said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. They possessed the land, the former land in the Middle East, and they possessed this land, whereas the Lord was there. I'm not going to read no more, but this whole chapter is good. You can actually do a whole breakdown on this. There's a topic right here. So where are we? So let's come back over here. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city. You know who that city is. And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. The modern day sword is a gun. Every time you turn on the news, Jake is either getting shot up or they're shooting somebody. And thy land shall be divided by line. We spoke about the lands. The first land is in the east, the second land is in the west. We're going to preach this word to the uttermost sides of the earth, right? Which is, what's the uttermost side of the earth? America. That's reincarnation. He was talking to the apostles. He said, you're going to preach on the other side of the earth. When did they ever do that? They're doing it right now. And thou shalt die in a polluted land. This land is polluted. And Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land. Whose land? Israel's land. What's the fourth of our land? Over here in America. Over here in America. And I do believe that Canada, and I used to say this, Canada is Canaan, the land of Canaan. The Da represent four. When we say somebody, the first, like if you, okay, I remember Bishop Nathaniel was known as Nathaniah Abba, which is the third. Nathaniah means Nathaniah, the third, because there was two individuals that had that name before him. So the fourth part would be what? Abagada. Cananda, Cananda. There's a what's the name of that place? There's a town or a city that's actually Hebrew. A lot of these American, Manhattan is a Gadite term. You know, you got a place called Babylon, New York. In Connecticut, you got a place called Canaan, Connecticut. New Canaan. The old Canaan is over there in the east. So how much more proof do you need that as to what this is talking about? New information. And thou shalt die in a polluted land and shall surely go into captivity forth of his land, of your own land. You went into captivity from one part of your land to the other part of your land, which is the Americas. Then shall they come. Second Ezra 13, verse 40 on down. Then they shall come. So let's deal with the word polluted. And it's the same word for defile in what is that? Ezekiel. I'm sweating, boys. I ain't got no fan on and nothing. I'm just sweating. I'm like in a sweat lodge. His land, the fourth of his land, which is on the fourth part of the earth. And Esau knows that the fourth part of the earth is the Americas, Canada, the US, Central and South America. Polluted. Give me a second. Forgive me, I had to dry off, man. I was in a sweat lodge. Give me another second. So we looked at the word pollute, which also means defiled. Pollute, tama'a, tama'a, unclean, defiled, infamous, polluted, pollution, unclean, impure, ethically and religiously. Because when you eat animals, you cannot eat an animal that dies of itself. Ritually, of places. Leviticus 5, verse 2. Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, when they prepare your meals, they're preparing pork and, for example, so they're touching the pork, then they're touching your food. So you got a lot of cross contamination. You go to the Chinese restaurant, they they put something in that fryer And a minute before that, they had some pork up in there. So you got pork in your system, man. Defiled, polluted. When you go to the captivities past, y'all ate good. Even Jake was saying that how they missed the food from Egypt. Oh, we missed the leeks and the onions and the garlic and the fish. So in Egypt, they were eating good. This is the only captivity where you're eating garbage. Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast or a carcass of unclean cattle, a cattle that dies of itself, the 10,000 cattle that died recently, right? Guess what? They're in your supermarkets. They ain't gonna throw them away. They chop them up and they sell it to you, man. Or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and if it be a candy bar, there's a certain percentage of bugs that can be in your candy bars by law. So you eat a bug and you eat a candy bar and you taste a wing of a fly, and you say, I'm going to sue them. You can't sue them because it is impossible for them to not have bugs in the you eating them. Your favorite, your Snicker bar, inside joke, your Chunkies, your Almond Joys, your Hershey, your peanut butter cups. That's all mixed. That's bugs, man, in there. Creeping things. And if it be hidden from him, he also shall be unclean and guilty. I mean, I'm not going to read all this, but this is 88 times and 78 verses. You ain't got nothing left, nothing to do. Read these, right? 10 and 10, Leviticus 10 and 10. And that ye may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. Anytime you buy something from a store, you got to eat something. Even if you go to the supermarket, right? When they're cutting them steaks up, guess what? When you get your slice, whatever, somebody had sliced up some ham. So you defile. Only way you can eat good food, you got to own your own farm. You got to raise your cattle by yourself. And then guess what? You got to deal with the GMOs in the air, the chemtrails. No other captivity was they flying chemtrails, man. I wanted to make this short, but it's going to be a little long. But it's new information. So now let me come over here. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 12. You should read the whole chapter. I'm sorry, Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel, meaning Judah, the kingdom of Judah, and the kingdom of Israel, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Israel, eat their defiled bread or food among the Gentiles. Aren't we scattered among the Gentiles? Whither I will drive them. That's talking about what? It's talking about over here. This word defile is the same word for pollute or polluted. Defiled. What's the word there? Tama'a. Unclean, impure, ethically and religiously. An animal that dies of itself, or which means a disease. You got to kill the animal while the animal's alive and well and healthy. That's what it means by ethically and religiously, ritually. When you prepare the Passover, you can't just grab any old lamb out there. You got to get a lamb, a male of 1 year, without blemish. So that's your ethically and religiously and ritually. So let me come back over here. Got a lot of tabs open. Okay, let me come back. Ezekiel 4, verse 13, and Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat in America, eat their defiled or polluted food. We eat garbage, garbage, defiled bread, which is food, among the Gentiles. We're among the Gentiles, right? Whither I will drive them. So who did the Most High drove us where? He drove us to America. Drive. The word is nadak. Nadak. To impel, thrust, drive away, banish. To impel. In other words, how did we come over here? We came over here, the northern kingdom came over here by ships, and the Most High held back the floods, right? When the southern kingdom came over here, they came in cargo slave ships, and they were forced over here. Banished, outcast. Isaiah 22, verse 18. He shall surely violently drive, right? One of the words, definitions was impel. So he forced it. It was a hard ride for us. A lot of us died. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball. That's a ship. You take a ball, you throw it in a body of water. It's not going to sink. It's going to float because it has a thing called buoyancy. Buoyancy keeps it afloat because of the shape of it. So these ships, how is a ship built? A ship is built like in an oval type. So he said ball. It was an oblong ball. What does a ship do? It's built to stay on top of the water because it has a thing called buoyancy to keep it afloat. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. That large country is America. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. So this is at one time we were holy, righteous, glorious people, and now we're ashamed people. Scriptures speak about shame face, confused, looked down upon. Deuteronomy, that's what Deuteronomy 28 is all about. And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt with ships again. So now let me go on to the word city. I'm going to read this fast. Revelation 11, verse 2. I don't need that one. I'll go to 11. Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies, Israel's dead bodies, shall lie in the streets of the great city. The great city. What is it saying in Amos 7:17? It said city, right? Singular. Where spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. 11 verse 13, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and a tenth part of the city, the great city, fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. 7,000 meaning everybody that's in this land is going to die. There's no hope for you of making it. That's why we have to be delivered out of here, beamed up. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. We're going to praise Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Scriptures say the righteous shall scarcely make it. 8th verse, Revelation 14, verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city. That's why Amos 7:17, it didn't say cities or countries, it said city. This is the city. Because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And all these nations are waking up to it. That's why you have the BRICS nation. That's a mighty alliance. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now you got 3 nations that are putting an application to join. Saudi Arabia, Iran, and from America, Argentina. Now, if Argentina becomes a member, I see Venezuela joining that union as well. Jeremiah, what is that? Jeremiah 50, if not 51, I believe it's 50. An assembly of great nations. Revelation 14 and 20. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress that represents Esau, that represents his blood, even unto, so the Most High compared this place, Babylon the Great, to a winepress, even unto the horse's bridle. But this wine is going to be blood by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Furlongs. 16 and 19, Revelation 16 and 19. In the great city, we know that's Babylon the Great, was divided into 3 parts. And the cities of the nations fell, sons of men, sons of the Most High, which are not of the elect, and the sons of the wicked. 3 parts. And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Revelation 17, verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which and ain't talking about no damn Vatican City. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. All these nations are set up by democracies. Where do you think they got the democracy from? From over here in America. Not England. Over there in England, you have a monarchy. The first democracy was America. The second democracy was France. Remember Queen Antoinette, Marie Antoinette? She got her head chopped off on the guillotine, and she was wearing a white dress, a beautiful white dress. They killed her husband, and she was locked up, and she knew that her husband got his head chopped off. And then the next morning they grabbed her up, and she was a hot mess, and they chopped the damn head off with that beautiful white dress on. And that formed the second democracy. You rule over people with fierceness and wrath, and when they get you, they're gonna they're gonna deal with you very harshly. A change of worlds. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And it's going to be nasty. It's going to be bloody. Revelation 18, verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment. The torment is the missiles, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And that's the only thing that can take a whole body of land out inside of an hour. Those missiles. They're coming out with a movie called Oppenheimer, and it's about Robert Oppenheimer. He was a guy that made the statement. He started crying when he saw the power of the bomb. You had the H bomb. Now you got the ICBMs, the warheads. So he quoted Hindu proverb. Somebody can put in the exact what book it came from. And if I'm pronouncing it the right way, the Bhagavad Gita, if I'm pronouncing it the right way, if I'm not, correct me. I'm not perfect. Which said, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. So Robert Oppenheimer made that statement. He quoted from that Hindu proverb, and he started crying. So they're making a movie. There's a movie called Oppenheimer. Why are they making that movie right now? Because they know something, man. They know their time is up. Revelation 18, verse 16, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet. Everybody wanted to come to America. I heard the streets are paved with gold and decked with gold. The streets are paved with gold and precious stones and pearls. Revelation 18:18, and cried when they saw the smoke of a burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Revelation 18:19, and they cast dust on their heads, and that's an ancient ritual of mourning. You cast dust on your head. A lot of times you rip your garments, took dust, put it over your head. So this is poetic. Because there's some countries that still do that. But there's other countries, they're going to see it on the news. It's going to be breaking news. That's going to be breaking news. Weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich. China became rich by America. Because America is nothing but a bunch of consumers. They'll max out a credit card, like it's nothing, because they want to consume stuff. Made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For 1 hour, as she made desolate, she became a desert. That's also the time of Jacob's trouble, because you can't compare the Most High coming. You can't compare this to any time in history. That's when the Lord is going to show himself. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city, singular, Babylon, be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Isaiah 14, they're not going to come back into power. Let's go to Job 10 real quick. Wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? This is Job, and he said this also in Job 3, that he wished he was stillborn. He wished his mother had a miscarriage because of the hell that he was going through. That was a test. He passed the test too. Wherefore then have thou brought me forth out of the womb? And one of you brothers are Job, if he's not in the spiritual realm already, if he's not King Mashar or whatever. He's either down here on the earth among us, or he's in the spiritual realm. Oh, that I had given up the ghost, and no eye had seen me. So really, if you really want to get into the spiritual aspects of it, a baby that's stillborn, a miscarriage, is really a blessing for the baby. That baby don't got to come, curse shall you be when you come in, and curse shall you be when you go out. When they reach a certain age, they start realizing that they're under a curse. 19 verse. Job 10 and 19. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go hence, before I go whence I shall not return, even the land of darkness and the shadow of death. He's talking about death, but he's also talking about Babylon the Great. Because you see the word land, if you go to the word land, the word in the Hebrew is aratazah. Let's prove that. Aratazah, I'm sorry. Aratazah. Literally, land, earth, whole earth, as opposed to heaven. Territory. America is a territory of the whole world, right? Land of Canaan. This is the other land of Canaan. Canada, Israel, inhabitants of the land. This side of the land was also known as Canada because the Canaanites came back and forth for Solomon. So what was Job talking about? He was talking about the shadow of the valley of the shadow of death. David said the same thing because David saw America too. David was a prophet and a king. 21st verse again. Before I go whence I shall not return. Now he's talking about death, but it's really talking about America because when he died, he came back. He died again. He suffered. Job went into captivity. He went into slavery. He was sold on an auction block. He was put on one of those dusty ass ships, even to the land, Aratazah, of darkness. It's not just a land of darkness and the shadow of death. Did not David say, yea, though I walk through this valley, the valley, America is a valley, which is a lowland. A highland is a mountain. And the shadow of death. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. David been in America. He was put on a slave ship. And he said, he saw the vision and he said, look, I'm not going to be afraid. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, America, I shall fear no evil. Why? Because he knew that the Most High, thy rod and thy staff, they do comfort me. 22nd verse, a land of darkness, as darkness itself. That's why they come against us for telling the truth. And of the shadow of death without any order. This place is out of order. And where the light, the truth is as darkness. So they over the overshadow the light with darkness, with lies. Vocab alone represents darkness. Okay. Let's go from there. Okay, I'm getting ready to close it. Now, what did it say in, let me come back to Amos 7:17. This is America right here. Amos 7, verse 17. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line, the land on the east side of earth and the land on the west side of earth. And thou shalt die in a polluted land. Thy food shall be defiled among the Gentiles, thy bread. And Israel shall surely go into captivity. Which captivity? They went into captivity. They were born as a nation in captivity. Mizraim, Egypt. It says, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land. Whose land? Israel's land. That's the land on the west side of the earth, the uttermost side of the earth. Acts 1, around about the 5th, 6th, 7th verse. You shall prophesy in Jerusalem and the uttermost parts of the earth. So what did the Lord tell the apostles? You're gonna come back and be reincarnated. And you're gonna prophesy on this side of the world. Revelation 10, I believe that's 10, verse 10. And you shall prophesy again before many nations, kings, tongues. Reincarnation. John came back. Christians don't understand the concept of reincarnation. It's a very simple concept. Okay, so this is what I wanted. It says, and Israel shall surely go into captivity, America, forth of his land, because this is our land. Before, who was here first? Israel was here first. So now let's deal with, okay, this is a book. Now this is not the original author, Toby Lester, the fourth part of the world, right? Or of earth. The race to the ends of the earth. What is the ends of the earth? The West, North, Central, and South America. And the epic story of the map that gave America its name. So what is America known as? Also known as the fourth part of the earth, or the fourth part of the world. So and I'm giving credit to the Sakari. Now, what they did, I don't know if they had written the original book. I'm talking about the original book in 1900 by a man by the name of, where's his name? The actual, okay, I'm sorry. In 1507, Martin Waldesmuller created a map. Okay, this is the map that depicted what was then known as the fourth part of the world or the earth. Same thing, world in an oikoumene sense. The other three parts being Asia, Europe, and Africa. So when you go to the other side of Earth, what's on the other side of Earth? Asia, Europe, and Africa. 1,000 copies were printed, but only one remained. Now, there was one remained for a reason. And you know who got that copy? And they paid $10 million for it? Do the research. The Library of Congress. Discovered by accident in the library of a German castle in 1901. The book, the book that says the other three parts. Okay, it was a map, right? It was a map. Let me read this again. It said create a map that depicted what was then known as the fourth part of the world. The other three parts being Asia, Europe, and Africa, and 1,000 copies were printed. This particular map, but only one remains, discovered by ancient accident in a library of a German castle in 1901. But this is the book. This is the book written by Toby Lester. I'm gonna show you something else. Let me get another picture of the map. And I had it up. Oh, this is a reference to Revelation 6, and I believe that's 6 and 8. So this is the fourth part of the earth. Europe, Asia, Africa, first three parts of the earth. This is the fourth part of the earth. Canada, Canaan, Da. Da is four. Abba, God, Da. There was another map. And this could be the actual map, the fourth part of the world. This is the first three parts of the world. America was all the way over here. And this is all they knew about America, this part right here. They didn't realize they had to go further west to realize how vast this country is. You see? That's all they knew about America. The old world. That's all they knew about America. That's the sliver of land right there. They didn't realize, how vast it was. Which is the fulfillment of what? Revelation 6, verse 8. And I look and behold a pale horse. Pale horse represent death, famine, ultimately destruction in time of Jacob's trouble. And his name that sat on him was death. We're in the time of the pale horse. And hell followed him, which is the grave, mass death, and power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth, or the fourth part of the world, to kill with the sword. You're experiencing, as of the end of 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, going into 2023. Our eyes are open, so we see everything that's going on behind the scenes, so to speak, that the elite are doing to set up this mass starvation and mass death. And with hunger, famine, and cannibalism is coming back cannibalism is going to be back in fashion. And with death and with the beasts of the earth. Fourth part of the earth or the fourth part of the world. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.